What if everything you were taught about money was a lie? Not a malicious lie, but a comfortable one. A lie whispered from one generation to the next. Go to school, get good grades, find a safe, secure job with a good salary, buy a house, and you will be successful. It's the blueprint for a good life. But what if that blueprint is actually the very design for a financial trap? A gilded cage where the bars are made of student loans, car payments, and a 30-year mortgage. What if the path to security was actually a path to lifelong servitude, forcing you to run faster and faster on a financial hamster wheel, just to stay in the same place? This is the explosive idea at the heart of one of the most influential and controversial personal finance books ever written, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's not just a book about money. It's a book about a fundamental shift in thinking that separates those who work for money their entire lives from those who have their money work for them. The story is told through the eyes of its author, Robert Kiyosaki, who grew up with two fathers. His own father, the poor dad, was a highly educated, high-income government official. He was brilliant, but he died with bills to pay. His best friend's father, the rich dad, was a high school dropout who became one of the wealthiest men in Hawaii. He died leaving a financial empire to his children. They were two men who lived in the same town, yet existed in completely different financial realities. So what was the secret? What did Rich Dad know that Poor Dad, despite all his education, did not? In the next few minutes, we will unlock the core principles that made all the difference. This isn't just a summary. It's a deconstruction of the mindset that creates true wealth. The first and most critical secret is a lesson so simple it's almost insulting. Yet it's the foundation of all wealth. You must know the difference between an asset and a liability. Poor Dad, like most of the world, had a complex definition. Rich Dad's was ruthlessly simple. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. That's it. The rich spend their lives acquiring assets. The poor and middle class spend their lives acquiring liabilities that they think are assets. And the biggest one of all? Your house. Let's imagine two friends, Mark and David, who both graduate from college and land good jobs. Mark follows the poor dad script. He earns a six-figure salary and immediately buys his dream house. It's beautiful, but the mortgage payment is huge. He buys a luxury car to match his new status. The monthly payment is a constant drain. He fills his home with expensive furniture on credit. Mark works incredibly hard, gets promotions, but at the end of every month, after paying for his house, his car, and his lifestyle, he has almost nothing left. His money flows out as fast as it comes in. David, on the other hand, follows the rich dad script. He earns a decent salary but chooses to live in a modest apartment for a few years, saving his money aggressively. Then, instead of buying his dream house, he buys a small duplex. He lives in one unit and rents out the other. The magic begins here. The rent from his tenant covers most, if not all, of his mortgage. David is living for nearly free, while his asset, the property, is being paid for by someone else. A year later, he uses the equity from that duplex to buy another small rental property. Now, he has two assets putting money into his pocket every single month. Do you see the difference? Mark is a slave to his job because his liabilities demand to be fed. David is on the path to freedom because his assets are beginning to work for him. The money flows to him, even when he sleeps. This single distinction is the main reason why the rich get richer, and the middle class gets stuck in the rat race. This leads directly to Rich Dad's second powerful lesson: mind your own business. There's a huge difference between your profession and your business. Poor Dad thought his profession, being a school administrator, was his business. Rich Dad taught that your profession is how you pay the bills, but your business is your asset column. Your business is what you do with your money after you've earned it. A pilot's profession is flying planes, but their business might be a portfolio of dividend stocks. A chef's profession is cooking, but their business might be a side venture selling e-books of their recipes. Don't confuse the two. Keep your day job, but start spending your time and money building that asset column. Real estate, stocks, intellectual property, anything that generates income independent of your physical labor. But how do you gain the knowledge to build that business? This reveals the third counterintuitive secret. Work to learn, don't work for money. Poor Dad always advised seeking jobs with the highest salary and the best benefits. Rich Dad advised seeking jobs for the skills you could acquire. Imagine a young woman fresh out of college is offered 2 jobs. One is an administrative role at a big company for $60,000 a year. It's safe and stable. The other is a commission-only sales job at a small startup. The pay is uncertain. Maybe she'll only make $40,000 in her first year. The poor dad mindset screams, "Take the safe job." But the rich dad mindset sees the hidden value. In the sales job, she will learn communication, negotiation, how to handle rejection, and how to build relationships. The most valuable business skills on the planet. A few years in that sales role will be like a real-world MBA. The salary from the safe job would have been spent, but the skills from the sales job become a permanent asset, allowing her to build her own business or excel in any future role. She chose to invest in herself, not just her bank account. Even with all this knowledge, one final barrier paralyzes most people. Rich Dad's final lesson was about overcoming the greatest obstacle, fear. Specifically, the fear of losing money. Poor Dad was terrified of risk. To him, losing money was the worst possible outcome. Rich Dad also disliked losing money, but he knew it was an inevitable part of the process of winning. He wasn't afraid to fail. He understood that every rich person has lost money at some point, but the difference is that they learn from the loss. They treat it as a data point, a lesson paid for. The poor are so afraid of losing that they never even play the game. They choose the security of the hamster wheel, never realizing that the greatest risk of all is playing it too safe. So, the philosophy of Rich Dad. Poor Dad isn't about being cheap or greedy. It's a profound mental shift. It's about changing your focus from just earning a paycheck to building a system, an ecosystem of assets that generates money for you. It's the difference between being a tool in someone else's financial plan and being the architect of your own. The rat race is real, but the cage door has always been open. The key is knowing where to look. Now, I want you to reflect on this. What is the number one liability in your life that you previously thought was an asset? Be honest with yourself. Share your realization in the comments below. It's a powerful first step, and if this summary has sparked a new way of thinking for you, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell for more deep dives into the world's most powerful ideas. Up next, I highly recommend you watch our breakdown of The Millionaire Next Door, which reveals the surprising, real-life habits of America's wealthy. It's the perfect follow-up to what you've learned today. Click the video on the screen now. Thank you for watching.